Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online series 10 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're using a team that we actually went up against in the last episode, and it is a KYUREM WHITE team built by Binjie W. Binjie has been one of my favorite players in team builders throughout Sword and Shield. He was on a tear in the in-real-life circuit in the beginning of Sword and Shield and has constantly topped the ladder, just using all kinds of really innovative and cool stuff. And he's really like one of those very high-level players that I think just constantly is pushing the metagame. And so he's come up with a really fun team here. And he actually finished in the top 10 of the last ranked season with this very team, which is such an impressive feat just because like KYUREM WHITE definitely is harder to use than most restricted Pokemon. Like if you look at the top teams from the previous ranked season, it was mainly things like, you'd expect Zacian, Kyogre, Calyrex, for example. So really cool to see Binjie perform so well with this KYUREM team specifically. I've linked his Twitter down in the description below if you want to give him a follow. And yeah, KYUREM is just a really interesting Pokemon in this format. It is not exactly the strongest, and it certainly has a lot of weaknesses, right? You're weak to Steel, you're weak to Fairy. Those are both really common types in the format, right? Zacian being both of those is, the most common restricted Pokemon. So, a lot of restricteds are often designed in a way to carry the game, right? Something like Scarf Kyogre or Calyrex Shadow Rider or Zacian or Xerneas or Groudon, right? These are all Pokemon that deal huge amounts of damage consistently over many turns. KYUREM is not really like that. It's going to struggle a bit in actually getting one-hit KOs, and so it's offensive. It can pick up one-hit KOs, but it often won't stick around on the field for multiple turns, right? For example, the strongest option you have here is Draco Meteor. Well, if you use a Draco, you're probably going to want to switch out right after. So it's not like the other Pokemon that we just talked about, because it's not often going to be on the field for more than a turn or two. You're probably going to switch out a lot, and I think this team is so good in terms of making switches. And so instead, what the KYUREM does is you have Icy Wind. So that's already surprise speed control because you have Choice Scarf in the KYUREM. Now KYUREM's base speed is 95. A lot of things, normally would outspeed it. Things like Urshifu, for example, a lot of the base hundreds or all the restricteds in that speed tier range. So with the Scarf, you're able to get the boost and outspeed them. That can be a really big deal because this team also has Landorus-I. This thing is an incredible offensive Pokemon. Going into Series 10, we already knew Landorus-I was going to be really good. Tons of people were using it. I feel like I actually haven't featured too many teams on the channel with it, but this just continues to be one of the best non-restricted Pokemon. And it's just so nice with the KYUREM because KYUREM can potentially Icy Wind your opponents, drop their speed immediately before they attack, thus allowing Landorus to outspeed and just pick up a knockout. And one of the reasons I also just really wanted to use this team is because it has Scizor and Landorus. Those are two of my favorite Pokemon I've used in VGC. Scizor might be just my all-time favorite Pokemon in VGC. I used it a lot in 2012 and 2013. Swords Dance with Steel Gem specifically back in the day. And then, fun story and fact, I used Landorus-I at the 2015 US National Championships, and going into that tournament, I actually had 5 Pokemon decided weeks in advance, but I just couldn't figure out the 6th. And I had 10 different Pokemon I was considering. Last second threw on Landorus-I, and it actually was so critical and carried me through 3 or 4 different matches throughout that tournament, where I ended up finishing in the top 4. And so I just really have loved using both of these Pokemon, and it's cool to see them thriving 5, 6, 7 years later after using them initially just years ago. So a lot of interesting things on this team, right? I just talked about the KYUREM and the Landorus. The Rocky Helmet Amoonguss, pretty standard here. You'll note that Rocky Helmet is a really critical item because, of course, Landorus and Incin are really weak to Surging Strikes, and so you can switch in Amoonguss to just, deal 50% to opposing Urshifus and then, KO them with a Grass Knot. AV Incin, really standard here. I think AV is just valuable for more defense here and more switching capabilities and dealing with special attacks, especially something like Tapu Fini, and just generally allows you to switch in Incin with more confidence. And having played a couple of practice games with the team, I never really missed the berry, so I think AV is a great item choice here. So then we have to talk about Ditto and Scizor. Ditto we've used plenty of throughout Series 10. It's actually maybe my favorite Pokemon to play with actually in this format. It just has so much flexibility and allows you to create so many interesting game plans while also scouting out your opponent. So this is a Focus Sash variant. And with Ditto, you're typically going to see Scarf or Sash, but I love the Focus Sash on this because basically you can use this and basically turn it into your opponent's restricted Pokemon. With the Sash, you can play with more confidence as well, right? With Scarf, yeah, you can maybe outspeed them, but if you can't pick up a KO onto them, then they might just be able to knock you out in return. With Focus Sash, what it means is, you can copy your opponent's restricted. This is really good, especially into things like Xerneas and Zacian. And then, even if you lose the speed tie, if you brought Ditto in, you can potentially just survive and then KO them in return. So Sash just allows you to play with more confidence while also not restricting you to just using offensive attacks, because with Choice Scarf, you basically have to push the tempo and only use the offensive attacks, right? Unless you want to lock yourself into a non-attacking move. And then finally, Choice Band SCIZOR. This is a really interesting Pokemon. You would think that in a format where Incineroar has like 60-70% usage, SCIZOR wouldn't be very good because of all the Intimidates, but U-Turn is really nice for cycling here. One thing you'll know that there are 2 U-turns with Incin and SCIZOR, right? Ditto is a pretty difficult Pokemon to execute, but since Incin and SCIZOR are both pretty slow, you can often U-turn with those after your opponent attacks to get Ditto in safely, thus getting, you know, it in and conserving its Focus Sash. Being able to conserve Sash is going to be really important with Ditto here in a lot of matchups, so you want to really play towards that. Because quite frankly, like KYUREM in this team often is actually not even going to come out in matchups. I know that seems really wild, but into specific matchups, you know, Hard Trick Room, for example, Xerneas matchups, KYUREM just really struggles against certain Pokemon. And so in those matchups, like, this is where you have to play meticulously well with Ditto, and Ditto becomes another huge offensive option for this team. So, as I was talking about SCIZOR, even though Incin's around, SCIZOR's really cool because it just, you know, has Technician and Band, so it does tons of damage. Like, Choice Band Bullet Punch can actually one-shot Xerneas if it has an Opal, which is wild. But even with Incineroar, like, you can still outpace Incineroar, so you can U-turn out before they Flare Blitz you, reset Intimidate, and then just KO it later on. You also have Superpower for burst damage onto things like Incin and Stakataka. Dual Wing Beat is really nice into things like Amoonguss, for example, and just offers you more coverage, and it just hits really hard with Technician and Choice Band. So, yeah. Overall, even though KYUREM White is obviously the restricted on this team, I think, like, Ditto, SCIZOR, I mean, all the other Pokemon are just, like, very, very important as well. And KYUREM certainly, I think, is a little bit weaker relative to some of the restricted Pokemon that you've seen in the format, right? So it's not like this KYUREM is weak by any means. It's just that you have to be very careful in how you play it because there's so many weaknesses that it has. So, like, using it even just for one good Icy Wind speed drop or one big knockout, like a surprise knockout with Freeze Dry, Draco Meteor, Earth Power, is going to be really critical when you're using this team. So I've talked on long enough, but I think there's just so many interesting components to this team. And overall, yeah, you know, being able to get that high on the ladder, Binjie being able to get top 10 with KYUREM White and with this team is such an impressive feat. So congrats to him, and yeah, let's get started. I've been talking long enough. So thanks so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy, and question of the day, I want to know if you have any tea or coffee recommendations. I recently started drinking both of those. So if you have any ones that you really like, I'm all ears because I'm looking for new ones. So let's get started. All right, getting into things here, and it's going to be a Zacian team. It's pretty standard. KYUREM's interesting. Obviously, it's not super strong to Zacian, but there's a lot of stuff that it can do here. I feel like Lando, Incin, Ditto, SCIZOR. Actually, all of our mons are pretty solid here. Fake Out plus Zacian is pretty likely from them. So Incin, Zacian, Rilla, Zacian. Honestly, Incin KYUREM's kind of compelling to me here. SCIZOR for Banded Bullet Punch is cool. I feel like Ditto is a must-bring because we can copy their Zacian. All of our Pokemon are pretty good here, honestly, which is, like I always say, a good sign. I think I like Lando the most just for the potential to just one-shot. Like, Lando one-shots almost all of their team, honestly. Sludge Bomb into Whimsicott and Rillaboom. Earth Power into Incin, Urshifu, and Zacian. So KYUREM's such an interesting restricted mon because, like, it's not necessarily going to just one-shot opposing restricteds. It's actually more of a support. Well, I wouldn't call it, I guess, like a support just because it's not using, like, you know, like more defensive supportive moves. But, yeah, it's really meant to just, like, get surprise KOs here and there. And potentially, you know, speed control. They're going to go with Urshifu plus Rillaboom. Okay. I mean, I'm relatively okay with that. I'm really curious about the item on the Urshifu. But I have Freeze Dry, which is really good for us, obviously. Because if you're not Focus Sash on the Urshifu, I can just one-shot you. Got Ditto. I could always just hard switch Incin into Ditto, but then it breaks Sash, which I don't know if I want to do right now. I'm leaning towards Fake Out plus Freeze Dry here, but the problem is if you're Focus Sash. Like, I could go into this to take a Surging Strikes. Maybe I'm willing to do that. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go into Ditto and Freeze Dry here. I don't love losing Incin this early on. Oh, they actually switch Urshifu out. But if that's Zacian, actually, I get to copy your Zacian, which is cool. But I think that's Incin. Yeah. Alright, that makes sense. But this is still good information, and I now get... Yeah, I copy your Incin, which means I get another Intimidate onto your Rillaboom. They're probably just gonna click Fake Out onto KYUREM, but that's fine with me. What makes it interesting is next turn. Do you hard switch Rillaboom out into Zacian? Yeah, that was a safe play by them, though, so that makes a lot of sense. Another key thing to watch out for in this game is getting an Icy Wind speed drop onto Zacian so that Lando can just outspeed and Earth Power it. It's probably Fake Out into KYUREM. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I guess we have Speed Ties. But here, we're in a position where Rillaboom, we know it's Rilla, Urshi, Water Urshifu, or Zacian in the back. So I don't really think I want to click Fake Out here. I'm actually fine to just Flare Blitz Rillaboom. And Freeze Dry it. This covers for any switch in. And they hard switch. Oh, but I guess they're probably just going to click Fake Out with Incin now. Let's see. Yeah, they just Fake Out. Okay, that's fine, though. Because the thing is, I get a free Flare Blitz, which now breaks the potential Focus Sash I was initially nervous about. I guess the downside here is that I actually now am going to break my own Focus Sash on Ditto. Which is a little bit awkward. But that's okay. 139 to 148, so we heal 9. So one more turn of Grassy Terrain, we'll be back to full. Now I have a free Freeze Dry into Urshifu. You would think Urshifu was going to protect in this position as this Parting Shots. That's fine. I'm just going to Parting Shot into Incineroar here and Freeze Dry into their Urshifu. I could have risked the... Oh, they don't protect. That's very nice. Because I just eliminated the biggest threat to my Zacian. I don't think that crit mattered. I'd be really surprised if it did. I guess, yeah, they're probably just, like, making an aggressive read there. I would have actually preferred for them to get their Parting Shot off first. So, winning the speed side there is actually not beneficial. That's fine. I think now we can just go into Landorus. Because the thing is, we get Landorus out, and I can intimidate your Zacian, meaning that your Behemoth Blade won't one-shot us. So then I can Earth Power after that. So now you probably bring the Zacian in, and then I would bring out... Would you bring out Rillaboom or Incin first? I'd probably bring out Rillaboom. Another thing to note is using Ditto to copy Zacian before I intimidate it. So, like, since... Oh, no, KYUREM's faster than Lando, so... Oh, but they are going to switch the Zacian in the KYUREM slot, probably. You have to bring in Zacian right now. If you bring in Incin, I actually think you just lose the game straight up right now. Because, like, the game just snowballs out of control. Yep. So what's really interesting here is I can switch out KYUREM first into Zacian, into Ditto. They might also Fake Out plus sub here. Fake Out Lando, sub with this. It's a pretty safe play. Either way, I think I'm going to go Lando into Incin here. Get that Intimidate, and then copy their Zacian here as well. And if you sub, I'd actually heal back to full, and that would bring back Focus Sash. So the idea here is first copy their attack boost, and the way you switch out is in terms of speed order. So I get that attack boost, and then I switch Landorus out to intimidate both of your physical attackers. Okay. Another thing to note is actually, not only do we copy their attack boost, but we get another additional one on top, so we're at +2 right now, which is really big. I'm just nervous that they just went for Behemoth Blade onto KYUREM here. Like, Fake Out Lando, Behemoth Blade, KYUREM. Okay, there's Fake Out. Yep, it is into Lando. And there's Behemoth Blade. I don't know if Ditto would be able to take this. Okay, they do target Ditto. And we survive. Okay, that's huge. That puts us in a really excellent position, I think. Okay. Ditto is so good with this team. Last turn of Grassy Terrain, we're at +2. I've got a free Fake Out. Key thing here is, do you have Substitute? They do. Okay. It's also Play Rough. I think here it's just really safe to go for Fake Out and Substitute in this position. Unless their Rillaboom has high horsepower. Okay, they actually just hard switch Rillaboom out. That's fine. Yeah. Because the thing is, I'm still at +1 right now. So this was always a really safe play. And now the thing is, like, by getting rid of Urshifu early on, I can cycle an Incineroar with so much more ease. Yeah, they go for Protect there. That's fine. But now we get a huge substitute up. Okay, fantastic. Now Behemoth Blade onto their Zacian is really safe. You can Fake Out my Incineroar. I can switch that out. I have to be a little bit careful though. I don't want to give them a free knockout. It's actually a big deal. Wait, they don't have close combat, meaning you can't knock out Incin here easily. Yeah, I think we're in a fantastic position actually. We can just Flare Blitz here. We don't even need to switch out. And Behemoth Blade into Zacian. Them having Substitute makes this match so much easier for us. And as you notice, they actually didn't click Fake Out, which I think makes sense. It's so funny seeing the Ditto copied Zacian Behemoth Blade. Great, they're just going to Behemoth Blade us. But once their Zacian faints, we still have a restricted KYUREM to play with, right? So the key thing here is I wonder if they were expecting the Urshifu to outspeed KYUREM, so they were like, you know what, I'm willing to lose Urshifu here, but I'm just trying to get the knockout onto your, I'm trying to just get the knockout onto the Incineroar before you knock out Urshifu. So the fact they gave us the free knockout onto Urshifu made this match so much easier to play. It was that and them having Substitute and as us managing to put ourselves in a position to get a free Fake Out plus sub. Now, I wasn't 100% sure they'd have Substitute on their Zacian, so that obviously, you know, changes how we might have approached the match. Is that lefties? Wow, that's really interesting. I haven't seen lefties on Incin in quite a while. Okay, now we can just bring out Lando, protect Lando, parting shot, and that's game over. So KYUREM, like, all the members were really good for us here, right? The KYUREM put in a lot of work just for that early Freeze Dry KO. And the nice thing about Scarf KYUREM is we also have some burst damage with Earth Power, and it also offers Icy Wind support. So, like, we can chain Icy Wind to then allow Landorus-I to outspeed our opponent's Zacian. Yeah, so here, we're just going to want to U-turn out and protect. No reason to not protect here. Yeah, Lando at this point one-shots both of these. So, like, the one way we could potentially throw the game is if for some reason we like, didn't protect and then they go, like, Fake Out plus, like, Flare Blitz crit onto us. So once we protect her, then Lando should one-shot either of my opponent's Pokemon. So you always just want to, like, figure out how to not throw the game when it's 100% one, and that was a position where, by going for Protect, there's literally nothing that either of those Pokemon could do, like, could secure a win. Even if they have, like, Substitute on either, it's fine, because then KYUREM also gets to come in and just click Freeze Dry and or Earth Power. So, yeah, that was a super, super fun one, and really demonstrated how KYUREM can be used just to pick up one KO to enable the rest of the team, and then Ditto obviously was absolutely amazing for us in that one as well. Alright, getting into our next game of the day, and this is Hard Trick Room. Okay. I was playing a practice game, and Hard Trick Room definitely was not very easy to go up against. But I do have Amoonguss. The only thing is fitting in Amoonguss, because, like, it still gets outsped by Torkoal. If you're my opponent, you want to guarantee Trick Room. They have 3 Trick Room users and 2 Redirection users. I feel like KYUREM is just, like, so subpar here. We might not even bring it. You know what's really interesting? Oh, this is actually, like, Scizor plus Amoonguss here. Because this Scizor has Choice Band U-turn, so if you're not Sash on Indeedee, we can one-shot the Indeedee with U-turn. We also have Dual Wing Beat to knock out Amoonguss, meaning that I can just deny Trick Room from going up. I just think KYUREM makes a little sense here. It just doesn't do any damage. At best, it has Draco Meteor and Freeze Dry. I definitely want Incin. It's just weird, like, am I really going to go Ditto over Landorus-I here? They don't have ground resists, so Landorus-I just does a ton of damage with Earth Power across the board. Ditto can copy their Calyrex or their Torkoal. I'm honestly going to go with Ditto here. This is pretty unconventional, right? Like, we have a KYUREM White and a Landorus-I on this team, but I'm not going to bring either. But KYUREM just makes very little sense to me in this matchup because it's not even one-shotting, like, Indeedee potentially. So, and because it's Choice Scarf, if my opponent gets Trick Room up, I literally can't do anything with the KYUREM. There's no flexibility with it. Landorus-I could be a very strong bring. If we had sub, I would definitely actually, you know, even lean towards it more. So they're going to go with Indeedee plus stack. Yeah, that's fine with me. The question is whether or not it's Focus Sash Indeedee here. Maybe I even let them get Trick Room up, honestly. No Psychic Seed, so it's more likely to be Sashed. I've got Choice Band Superpower, that's the other thing. Oh, Choice Band Superpower is actually really cool here. We should survive an Expanding Force on Amoonguss, I think. They could be Goggles. Okay, I'm gonna go for the U-turn play, and Spore into stack. We'll see if they're Focus Sash. The thing is, I don't expect them to follow me here, which is why I really wanted to go for Bandit Superpower. But they do go for follow me. Okay, that's a good sign, honestly. And the thing is, if you're Focus Sash... I mean, if you're not Focus Sash, I just get a KO here. Yeah, they are Sashed. But the thing is, now I put your Indeedee to sleep. I bring in Ditto. So now the Ditto can copy Stakataka. And reverse Trick Room. This is a really interesting game. Yeah, just like, imagine if I brought KYUREM. Like, what would I do, right? I literally can never switch it in. So this actually is the best outcome. I had to cover for safety goggles Indeedee there, as well as... yeah, so okay, that's really good. Because the thing is, I also get a free Spore off, and that Indeedee slot is completely useless for my opponent. So first of all, let's see if they have Body Press here. Okay, they do. They can't Protect, so I get a free Spore onto stack now. It's just like whether or not I want to reverse Trick Room here right now. I don't think it's a bad idea. They're probably going to Body Press our stack. Okay, you know what? Here I don't mind going for Body Press and Spore. Because I don't think Body Press should one-shot them. Indeedee switches out, that's fine. Into Torkoal. No, it was correct to reverse Trick Room there, specifically because of the Torkoal switch. I think. Oh, they actually go for Rock Slide. Okay. It's fine by me. Flinch would be really bad here. And their Chople Berry. Wow, okay. I just wanted damage on a Stakataka because I'm kind of nervous about like dealing damage to this in the long run. We don't flinch, which is absolutely critical here on Amoonguss, so that's fantastic. Okay. So now what? So, like, obviously I can't really switch in Scizor. They're probably going to Earth Power us. Like, I can Rock Slide here pretty easily and then switch into Incin. I really want to reverse Trick Room if I can. I guess I could also switch Incin in here and then protect Amoonguss. That actually might work. Just doesn't really get us much further. There are only 3 turns of Trick Room left anyway. I'm not really sure here. I should have reversed it last turn. I'm going for Trick Room and Switch Out, but I think here they're probably just going to knock out our stack with an Earth Power from their Torkoal. But if they go for a Fire type attack, I'd love to see that. Although actually they might just Eruption. So I should have just reversed Trick Room instead of Body Pressing. I thought I had a turn to work with, but nah, Torkoal just applies too much offensive pressure. Okay, so they do go for Eruption. Does that KO? It doesn't. Nice. That's super good for us. Okay, fantastic. That is very good. I I guess the awkward thing is you can just Eruption again now. I can't Fake Out here, which is the awkward thing. Oh, I actually maybe needed to Rock Slide. I just realized how poor our damage output into their Torkoal specifically is. I'm gonna Body Press here. Yeah, actually, I don't know how I beat Torkoal right now. I have to Spore it. Oh, they switched that out? Okay. Into Calyrex, so I actually just get a free Flare Blitz in Sun off against Calyrex. I was not expecting that. We take those. And it's Psychic Seed Calyrex. Wow, interesting. They double switch. That was really risky, and I feel like that just loses them the game instantly now. Yeah, I'm really surprised by that. And we even get a burn, which is super lucky. I mean, so now this Calyrex doesn't even deal damage. But I doubled up onto that slot, so yeah. Yeah, that's just a really surprising switch, honestly, but we'll take it. I'm still struggling in seeing how I deal with Torkoal, but I think they didn't need to switch out there with Torkoal, because the oh, unless the... No, the Stakataka is definitely faster than Torkoal, right? I'm just trying to remember under Trick Room whether or not it moved first. So Torkoal comes back out. They're likely going to Eruption again. 2 turns of Sunlight. I think I give up Stack here. Like, the thing is, this is not one yet because I really didn't bring good damage output into Torkoal by not bringing Landorus-I, and maybe Landorus-I was the right call. But I kind of feel like I needed everything that we've brought so far. If I U-turn out, I'd have to take an Eruption on either of these. I really don't want to do that, so I think I just stay in here. Okay. I'll just Rock Slide and Darkest Lariat. Indeedee stays asleep. Yep. That's his first turn. So we get the knockout here. Yeah, the main thing is, like, how do I deal damage to this Torkoal? Oh, we are faster. They are slower with Torkoal. Okay, that explains the switch out. Well, that should win us the game because I just got the damage I needed on it. So they're just not min speed stack. I actually probably should have just double checked that immediately when going in the like when you copy a Pokemon, you can. I think it should show you the actual stats, right? But yeah, now this just ensures us the win. Right, because we know Amoonguss here should be faster than Torkoal. Actually, no, we go into Scizor first. Because the reason we go into Scizor here is because we know their Torkoal doesn't have, we know their Stakataka doesn't have Protect, so Superpower is a guaranteed KO onto it. And then I can just Darkest Lariat into Torkoal, yeah. Okay, so their stack not being min speed was huge. Nice. Yeah, this was an example of a game where, like, I don't think KYUREM could have done anything for us. Landorus-I could have been a really solid bring, but I didn't know how to fit it in over all the ones that we brought. Because I need Incin for Calyrex. I need Scizor for that early turn 1 play. I need Amoonguss to put things to sleep. Does Eruption KO Scizor from this range? I'm honestly not sure. It still does. That's funny. Poor Scizor. I mean, it is 4 times super effective Sun boosted, so it's not, like, wild, but yeah. DSL Vest helps a lot here, too. Yeah, I just don't think I can give up any of these Pokemon. I guess you could make an argument to not bring Ditto, but Ditto was honestly the MVP of this one. So, this was cool, right? I mean, in the end, like, we didn't bring either of our legendary / restricted Pokemon in Lando and KYUREM. And we were able to win. And honestly, I feel like this wasn't to, like, style on my opponent or anything. It was objectively, I think, just the best 4 Pokemon to bring into the matchup. Landorus-I can be really good. I misplayed turn 2 of this game. If I just reversed Trick Room earlier, we would have been in a better position, I think. And I also should have double-checked the Stakataka stats once it transformed into Ditto, or once Ditto transformed into it. But yeah, that did not play out the way I expected it to. I was surprised by them switching out Torkoal, but yeah, that makes sense because they knew that their Stakataka was actually faster than their own Torkoal. And had we checked the speed stat, should have been able to confirm that. So yeah, but really, really interesting game, and one in which like we didn't need KYUREM, and the rest of the teammates, like the Ditto, the Scizor, the Amoonguss, they're all just so good there. But that was definitely a scary one because we had such little damage output into Torkoal, especially considering how much damage our Stakataka had already taken post-transform. So I think I would have preferred to just reverse Trick Room, because once if we reverse Trick Room on turn, was it 2 or 3 of the game, then the Amoonguss should just outspeed the Torkoal and can just Spore the Torkoal, because Torkoal should be min speed in that position. Yeah, I guess their Stakataka just wasn't min speed, but that makes sense because, you know, it's not always super easy to get a 0 speed IV Stakataka. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for the second one, so let's look for another. Next match here, and it's a Zacian Rain team. Very cool. Okay. So Zacian Rain. Does KYUREM outspeed Kingdra in Rain? I'm actually double checking Kingdra's speed stat if you're modest max speed. Or sorry, timid max speed. Although I would think most Kingdras are modest. I guess we should check timid just to be safe. So that reaches a speed stat of 150, meaning you get to 300. Which we're definitely not outspeeding. Even if you're modest, I don't think we do. So probably Kingdra is something I have to watch out for. That's actually a really big issue. I do have Amoonguss. Okay. I think I actually really like Incineroar, Ditto in the back, because we can use the Ditto to copy their Kingdra, which is good for us. The problem is that like Scizor, Amoonguss, and Landorus are all really good in this matchup. So like the fact I have to give up one of those really stinks. I guess we just bring Lando. Like Earth Power into Zacian is just so strong. We have Rock Slide into Volcarona as well. Scizor is a lot more situational. It's still good, but Ditto in itself is a really good answer into both Kingdra and Zacian here. So we'll see how much work it can put in. But yeah, if I had to guess for that last team, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they were just bottle capped, and so the stack was like 31 speed IV rather than 0. Volcarona plus Moltres, okay. Pretty good for KYUREM, generally, I'd say. So they didn't go with Poly Kingdra. And it's highly, like, that means that they just don't have Kingdra. I mean, I guess you could bring Kingdra, but that would be really surprising in the end if they did. Curious about the item on the Moltres here. Man, Fake Out Draco is tempting here. I don't want to activate a policy on this. I feel like it's probably not going to be policy, but I don't know. I just can't say that with confidence, right? You could always switch this out into Zacian, but I don't think I'm that nervous about that. Yeah, I'm going to Fake Out Draco here. Try to just snipe Volk on turn 1. Okay, that switches out. That's okay, but Volk might be protecting here. Man, if I actually Icy Winded there, we'd be in good shape too. It would cover for switching, but just fear of the activating a policy. Yeah, that's a great play by them, turn 1. Okay, nicely done. It's like a somewhat risky play, but it's highly unlikely that, like, Zacian probably survives the blitz there anyway, which is probably why they made that play. I have to respect sub here, honestly. So I'm going to actually just Flare Blitz and Draco Meteor in this position. Okay, they go for Rage Powder. I don't know if Draco KOs here. Okay, we at least connect, which is good. That's a good start. If we knock out here, we're actually in really good shape, I'd say. It's bulky enough to survive. It's to be expected, though. They just Behemoth Blade. Okay. The thing is, I, like, don't really have a super safe play to make in that position. Because I have to cover for sub. Yeah, I'm curious if that was, like, a guaranteed survival there on Incin, but their turn 1 play was just really... Sorry, on Volcarona. Their turn 1 play was really solid. And I probably should have punished him more. I don't know. Maybe it is just worth Icy Winding, because I don't think me activating Weakness Policy is that scary anyway. Yeah, now we're in a really awkward spot. Because, like, maybe I needed to U-turn to just copy their Zacian. They bring out Rillaboom, okay. This is just where, like, the threat of sub on Zacian is so scary. I could obviously switch out into Ditto right now. I think I just switch out. Even if you have sub, so be it. Like, and protect. It's so obvious. But I feel like, I don't know. I don't need to take an unnecessary risk yet. Although, if they actually just fake out and blade the Ditto switch in, we lose. That would be an crazy play to make, though, given the instant threat with Flare Blitz. Best case is them just going for fake out and blade into the Lando slot. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, they go for Glide. That's also fine. I would think it's a double up then. They actually close combat, but that's okay. It is a lot of damage, though. Trying to see if there's any way I play around a speed tie here. They also know I'm not scarfed because they see the way the terrain works there. Honestly, oh wait. First, let's check the moves. Yeah, there is sub and protect. So I don't have like an easy way to play around this turn. Because they could sub at any point. Does Glide KO us? That's the other question I have. I think the best play is maybe to actually go out into Incineroar here. And Earth Power them. No, I don't love that. But I also don't love the play I'm making here. I actually think the instant play was fine, but... Okay, yeah. The thing is, I expected sub or protector, but the question is, does Glide KO Zacian here? Oh, they target Lando. Okay, that's actually really good, I would say. You should one-shot here. Because the thing is now, now I have two Pokemon that can one-shot your Zacian. If we win a speed tie, we just immediately win the game. I also could have gone sub on Zacian Sludge Bomb there, but that's really risky, I think. Just trying to think if there's any way I can win around a speed tie. Because the play I want to make here is just Behemoth Blade, this, and Earth Power it. Even if we lose a speed tie, we should get the knockout onto this. Oh, unless Moltres outspeeds. I guess I could protect, go into Incin, but if they sub, we just like... I think we just go for it, yeah. If we win the speed tie, we win. Wait, actually not necessarily because I went for Earth Power. We do win the speed tie though, which is obviously huge. Actually no, we should win regardless. Well, does Fire Wrath KO Zacian? I wouldn't think so. And we are faster, okay, good, yeah. Oh, this is max speed Lando, I'm pretty sure, right? Okay, they just went for Fire Wrath, they don't knock out, yeah. Because I was thinking, so even if we lost the speed tie, the Earth Power there was just to ensure we KO Zacian, and they didn't go for double protect. And I was thinking, because we're AV Incin, in the 1v1, Moltres versus Incin, we actually win if they don't have, like, recovery. Because we have Assault Vest, they just don't do very much damage. And Flare Blitz is a good chunk onto them, but now this is just a wrap. So we definitely had a good share of, like, fortune today. Well, yeah, I mean, the thing when you play with Dittos, sometimes you will have to rely on speed ties. I should have clicked fake out there probably, right? It doesn't make a difference. But Ditto was so good for us with this team. You can see how, like, Ditto in itself can be used as a Zacian counter. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I didn't love is that I had to switch Ditto in. But I don't think U-turn would have knocked out Volcarona. Like, if Draco plus U-turns to K onto Volcarona, it's actually really good for us, because then I just U-turn out, go into Zacian, come in for free safely. and then I can copy your Zacian. I'm at +2, and then switch the Instant in for the KYUREM slot. That could have been really cool. So yeah, like, this is the thing about KYUREM on this team, right? It's not going to one-shot a lot of Pokemon, but it just can often get burst damage. Now, in this game, unfortunately, didn't get the knockout onto Volcarona. If we get the KO, we actually probably just win the game on that turn. So it was close, but yeah, like, Volcarona is a bulky Pokemon. Just expect it to survive in a position like that. But either way, even with the survival there, the Ditto was really clutch. So I wish I could have seen the Moltres set. And turn 1, I think I could have played better as well, since they just made a really good defensive switch that like I could have predicted with relative ease, but I didn't see it fully. Yeah, the main thing is knowing that Draco Meteor calc on Volcarona and it's not going to be a KO or a guaranteed KO. So yeah, really curious about the Moltres set just because it's not very common in this format. Obviously, it's a lot weaker in a non-Dynamax format. Could be more support oriented. Maybe it's Nasty Paw with Fire Rat than Air Slash. Either way, because we had AV, I was thinking that Incin could, 1v1 the Moltres even if we lost the speed tie there. So it's like a 50% chance to just win immediately. And even if we lose the speed tie, we actually have an okay chance, I think, in that end game as well with the Assault Vest. So yeah, either way, yeah, let's look for one more game. Final one of the day, and this feels like a fitting way to end the episode as we go up against the last team we just featured. Okay. This is another matchup where we don't bring KYUREM. It's really awkward too, honestly. We've got Freeze Dry. It's okay coverage. Scizor is really good. I think it's gonna be Ditto. Yeah, honestly, don't think we bring KYUREM once again. Like Lando plus Scizor, Ditto plus Incin, I think is pretty solid here. If we eliminate their Incineroar, the game becomes a lot easier. Yeah. Okay, this one's gonna be an interesting one. It might go for a while, honestly. Just because, like, with us having Ditto and both of us having Incineroar. Yeah, I don't think KYUREM's really bad into Necrozma here. Just can't do much. They go Instant Fini, which I'm fine with. Okay. Lando's obviously in a really good spot. Turn 1, it's likely they're just going to fake out Muddy Water. I guess I could also see them just going for Flare Blitz. Sludge Bomb's not going to KO the Fini. I think I'm down to just protect. We can go into Instant, copy them. That would break our Sash. We can go into our Instant as well. Okay, I'm down to protect and U-turn onto their Fini. Earth Power should be a KO onto this, right? Yeah, because I think U-turn then maybe puts it in KO range from a Sludge Bomb. They might just fake out Scizor here, if so, good read, but it's fine. We, at worst, eat up Muddy Water. Yeah, and they just fake out Lando. Like, that would be a really aggressive read. Okay, they are faster than Scizor, so that's good to confirm. That's fine, though, because this means I can actually bring in Ditto for free and not lose Focus Sash. Oh, that's actually a really big deal, isn't it? Because it means I can Earth Power the Instant slot for free next turn. Or I could just go into AV Instant here. That honestly might be the play. Okay, I'm honestly down for that. Because in the Necrozma team that we used, the biggest weakness for it is actually dealing with Incineroar. And you have to play meticulously to position Galarian and Zapdos to deal with Incineroar. Yeah. Okay, so obviously we risk Muddy Water. Fini might protect here. I'm honestly down to just Earth Power Instant here and fake out into Fini. Your way around this is to hard switch Incineroar out into Zapdos. I think that's what they're going for, which is a great play if so. Yeah. But that's fine. I don't mind playing it safe this turn. Yeah, I'm okay with that. You know what's also really interesting? If I copy the Zapdos with Ditto, I'm just guaranteed to outspeed their Zapdos, which is really nice. I don't think Sludge Bomb plus Flare Blitz KOs this. They're probably going to CC this slot in Muddy Water, is my guess. Last turn switch was so obvious. I feel like I probably should have predicted it. That's okay, though. Alright, I'm going to Sludge Bomb U-turn Fini here. Fini takes that decently well. They're going to Muddy once again. Yeah. Last turn was them making, like, a really obvious switch. And if I just Sludge Bomb Flare Blitz there, I feel like we're in a really good spot. Still okay, though. Now I go into Zapdos. Copy them. What's interesting here is what the Zapdos went for. I guess they could have Brave Birded us here. I would think it's Brave Bird onto Lando, which I guess I don't love because Lando is my best threat into their Incineroar. Alright, they close combat. That's actually the best case option by far. Actually puts us in a really good spot now. Because if you're my opponent, I just now Brave Bird. I have like a free Brave Bird into Zapdos and Earth Power into Fini. You have no defensive switches at this point in the game. Your only switch would be Zapdos into Necrozma. But knowing that they have the Power Anklet, I know we're faster here as well. I will say, like, having knowledge of the sets here makes such a big difference. Yeah, so there's Necrozma. Because, like, knowing that it is not a speed type between the Zapdos makes this a lot easier to play out. So, like, they detect, but it's fine, right? Once, like, at this point, once you switch in that Zapdos, the rest of the team can't take Earth Power well. So now I just Earth Power Necrozma, Brave Bird into Zapdos again, and there's nothing they can do to stop it, especially because we know that Necrozma doesn't have Protect. Now, if I didn't know it was Power Anklet on Zapdos, how would I have played it differently? I don't think I really could have changed my play much. Well, I'd actually maybe Protect the Ditto then instead in that position. But since they had Brave Birded as well, it's like if we win the speed tie, you kind of just win the game. So even without knowledge of my opponent's sets, I think I'd make the same play. Either way, yeah, once again, you can see how strong this core of Ditto, Focus Sash Ditto, Lando, Incin, and Scizor is. It's really, Scizor is an add-on. The reason why Scizor is actually really important is because it covers most of the things that KYUREM White will typically struggle against. Specifically like fairies, right? And Pokemon like Xerneas and Tapu Fini, for example. Okay, so they switch back out into Fini, but like, yeah, what's the goal here, right? The main way, you know, like I said, we just use the team that my opponent's using, and I think it is just it's like a tough team to execute. It's really strong. You know, the original creator got top 30 on the ladder with the last ranked season, but I think it's not as intuitive or easy to execute than most of the teams that we had used. And so, like, I don't even think my opponent made, like, you know, big mistakes in this game. The one big turn was, I think, had they covered for the Zapdos switch and Brave Birded there instead, they'd actually be in a really good spot. But because they didn't cover for that switch in, we were in a really good position. It was kind of funny because, like, both of us, I feel like, didn't do an amazing job reading the switches in this game. And the turn where they protected Fini and switch into Zapdos, like, that is really the safest and most obvious play they could make. And my Lando wasn't at risk of getting KO'd by Tapu Fini there anyway. So I think I should have just Sludge Bombed the Zapdos switch in at least. Like, if we Sludge Bomb plus Flare Blitz there, I think it's nearly impossible to come back from if you're my opponent at that point. Because then the Lando just outspeeds, can knock out Zapdos. And the Fini's not threatening a one-shot onto either Pokemon. So, yeah. Either way, though, now we can just Earth Power. And CC. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking if there was any way they could win, but both of those attacks should outspeed and one-shot the Necrozma. And since neither of those Pokemon have Protect, yeah, there's just no way around it. Because, like, you can fake out one of the two Pokemon and KO one with Necrozma, but then the other Pokemon's just going to get a knockout the subsequent turn, and we still have two Pokemon in the back. So let today's episode and let this team be a demonstration on how you don't necessarily need to use your restricted Pokemon to win matches. We had two separate games against somewhat different archetypes, Necrozma and Calyrex-I, in which we didn't bring our restricted Pokemon because it just didn't make very much sense. So yeah, it goes to show how like a bunch of regular Pokemon can stand up against the strongest Pokemon in the format. You just need to kind of adapt your game plan, make sure you cycle. Ditto is like a key component to that, right? So Ditto might be a difficult Pokemon to use because you have to be very flexible in your game plan because you're never going to know exactly what you're getting yourselves into. But it can be so dang good if used correctly. And with Focus Sash, you can make plays with more confidence. You can bait them into thinking your Choice Scarf as well, and actually use like non-attacking moves as well. So this was a really, really fun episode. I'm not surprised that Binjie was able to get top 10 on the ladder with this team. He's such an amazing player. And also, yeah, I think like I am just really darn impressed by the core of Scizor, Ditto, Incin, and the Landorus-I. KYUREM obviously had some big moments for us as well, namely that freeze dry on Urshifu in game 1, and then chipping away with Draco Meteor in game 3. But really interesting set of games. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Thanks so much as always for watching. Thank you to Binjie for the team. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all soon. All right, peace.